What's up, everyone? What's going on?
Car guys and car gals. It's Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
It's Frelin Arts, the Subprime hero.
And we are brewing solutions on the Car Guy Coffee podcast. Good morning, good evening, or good night. But cheers to you,
my man,
your crew, and everybody that's ready to brew. It is time to have a good show. We are so excited. Man.
Dude, pumped up, excited.
Go.
Man,
jump in.
Make sure you share this. Car guys, car gals, share. Tag some car guys. Tag some car gals. Matter of fact, let's take that out the picture. We're Car Guy Coffee, but today, let's just get people in here.
Let's go.
Bring everyone in here, because I got somebody that can impact any youth, any adult, anybody who's been somewhere and think that they can't get there. I got someone that can tell you the complete opposite, my friends. We got somebody that we had the privilege to meet in Denver, right outside in a little town, that we were just over there doing something with some Subprime hero stuff, right? And this guy's a Subprime hero where he's at. I love how you woed right there. Subprime hero where he's at, man. He's something special. Getting the conversation in with him that day, I didn't want to leave, man. He was somebody that we had a great time, to the point where when he was taking us to the airport, and thank you for doing that, by the way, man. What an honor that we had that privilege to spend that little extra time with him. Dude took us to the airport, dropped us off. And
family,
the whole time, instantly, man. I mean, he's like originally from the East Coast.
I didn't
know what I'm saying,
right? He's sitting there talking. I'm like, man, this accent, this guy.
I already knew.
Oh my goodness, he knows a little something about a little something. And I love hearing him speak. But he's an incredible car guy.
Oh.
That is a testament to what you can do when you get focused in a direction that you want to go. And he's helping not just the automotive industry, but he's helping a generation of young people find their direction by believing inside of themselves. So let's get this party started the right way.
You know the deal, how to do this.
Get this car guy up in here and have an incredible cup of coffee and a conversation.
That's right.
Let's do this. So let us make welcome the one,
the only Pierre.
Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great, gentlemen. How are you?
Oh, man. We are just excited to have you inside of the
caffeinated a little bit, as you can tell, right?
Yeah, look at this guy. Oh my goodness.
But no, man, dude, amazing. Pleasure to meet you. Learn so much about you. And we're going to tell more of your story as the show goes. But we start everything with the 3S. Before we get there, I just want to talk about the impact you made on me, just for that moment that we had that time, that day, man. And just hearing what you had to say, the people that you have been able to have the privilege to stand in front of and talk and be able to impact, but also your story, where you came from. It's just not something that you normally hear. A lot of people don't believe it's possible, but you and many others, and in your network, there's plenty of people that you've seen do this, which inspired you, like ET, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many of them out there that just are inspirational. And I'm inspired by you, man. I'm just happy to have you on the show. I'm excited to work with you. We get to do business together, but we also get to do life together, man. And it's a privilege, bro. Seriously. So welcome to the show. Let's get this 3Fs going, my man.
Let's go.
All right. So we apply the 3Fs, and that's things that you have had to do to be able to be encouraging the generation that you are. And that's by wiping off the weight of unforgiveness.
That's right.
Right. Getting that off your shoulders, because it's just going to hold you back. It's just going to slow you down. It's just going to anchor you to what shouldn't be limiting you. Then you get focused with your free hands. You then put out the blockers, the things that are distractions no longer become inside of your focal point. And you go to who it is that you can help. You see what it is that you are actually created to do, and you go do it. And then you step out in faith and fly. And when we stretch out and we fly, right, we do things that we didn't believe that we could do. And then we keep finding ways to keep growing as we're doing them. So we go forgive, focus, fly, and then we keep growing. So help us out one time right here. The one and only Pierre Evans is going to forgive, focus, fly. Let's go, everybody. On 3. Go ahead and cross. There we go. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Forgive.
Focus.
Fly.
And
keep growing.
Keep growing.
Yes, sir, man. Now you're part of the club, man. And matter of fact, we've done that already once with him. We did it during our last Zoom meeting, man. And man, it was fun, but we appreciate you. And man, super excited. This 5-liner is going to be amazing, man. Your story is dope. And, folks, just so you guys know, if you want to learn more about his story outside of this, he does have an amazing book to read. It's right there. Big plug for him right there. It's been out for sale. He's got it. There you go. Thank you, Lou. It's beautiful. And you guys, you can also see it really quick. And I'm going to show you guys another view of it before we get going, because this book is nice. Bam. As you can see it right there, looking good, right? And this is the book that you guys can all see right there. It's called They Counted Me Out, man. And it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a story that where you count that out. You'd be like, nah, statistically, no way. And look where he's at today. And he's not even begun yet. This guy's just started. And that's what's so amazing. He has already built up a bank of just amazing things to be able to share with people. And we're going to talk about that today. So anyway, let's get to it, man.
Let's get to it.
Blessed to have him on the show today. Blessed to have him here, man. This is amazing. So let's talk about you. Let's talk about what's going on in your life. Let's talk about your why, what drives you, right? Your number one question I love to ask everyone. It's what makes them motivated every single day to wake up and try to go out and do their best. What is that for you?
Yeah, I want to raise the bar, man, for my kids. That's what it is for me. You know, with my son, he just turned 22, and you know, when he was born, man, I was just heavy into the streets, and I wanted something different for him. So for me, he looked at me one day and said, "Dad, like, you ain't living right. How you gonna tell me, you know, what to do and how to be?" And so I had to make some adjustments, man. So that's the why for me, man. They'll never be able to look at me and say, yo, my dad quit. My dad didn't, you know, keep pushing. My daughter, no man can tell her, oh, no, I just can't do it. No, my dad got up when he didn't feel good, when he didn't feel like it. So for me, man, it's just making sure the bar for my kids is extremely high, and they're grateful, but never satisfied.
I love that. And you know what I love about that? That's legacy that you're trying to leave on this planet. You know how important that is. The older we get, the more we see that and the more we feel that. Yeah. And you feel that through your own blood, your family. You know, you start there. And that's where we all start. We want to start there, making sure that that's right. But what that becomes is even more. And what I love is that that's your drive, but that drive is so powerful. Your love for your children to show them that there's more than what there is goes beyond just showing them. You're showing so many other children in this world. I know you've been to schools, you spoke at all these things, and it's your heart. It's about that. It's about your story. And what I love is you don't hide from what you come from. You tell people what it is and what it's been about. And there's no excuses. You just say, that's what I did, you know? But now look, the truth is that you can throw away all those excuses, forgive, let it all go. And then you can just move on. You can focus on what you want. And that's what you've become. You become super focused to the point where, man, I've seen some things, you know, and I know some stories, but just to see that you went ahead and got your GED, let's talk about that a little bit for you. You know, what drove you to want to do that, man? And I'm just going to continue on with that. Why? I know that a lot of people could have been like, I don't need to go back and get that. Why was that an important thing for you to do 17 years later?
Because it was bigger than me. Again, you know, it goes back to my son, and every birthday card I write in there, like, son, like, you saved my life and don't even know it. He sees me supporting him all day, but he don't know, you know, what he did for me. And that's why I went back. Again, man, when he gave me the words, I can't tell him to do homework. You know, I can't tell him to graduate because I didn't, and I couldn't yell at him. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't be like, yo, boy, don't you go do. I couldn't do it. I had to own it. And then I think really, as I think about it now, that was like my first time really taking true ownership. Right? Like, and when I say true ownership, some of us say, oh, it's my fault I did it. But I said, man, it's my fault I did it. Let me go do something about it. And then got up and went and did it. So I got the big GED book and went and studied that daggone thing, man, for 2 weeks straight. I'm talking about 3 a.m, 4 a.m, not sleeping. I basically wrote out the whole book because I don't know how to take notes. And all I wanted to do was be able to take the power from my son to say that I gave him fuel to fail. You know what I'm saying? I gave him the right to give up. So I took it back from him and I gave it to him. And I said, son, you can't say that to me. And then that's when I went and wrote the book. Like, yo, here's another one. So now I need you to do a little more.
And that's exactly what we're wanting to make sure we do highlight inside of this business. We want to make this business be a compelling place for the generation that's in front of us, but not because the business is great, but because there's a father-son relationship, a father-daughter relationship, that mothering, that fathering, right? That connection of that we're all vested in each other succeeding continuously. And that is the legacy, that this doesn't stop with me. And whatever has slowed us down, the only thing that does stop with me is what slows us down. right? What doesn't make us the best version of ourselves. And you, in bringing that to your own home, now have a car guy, right, doing things inside of the business and making things happen for themselves, and seeing that from the full father vantage point. That is a walk that only so many car guys get the chance to be blessed with, right? Only so many people get the chance to see themselves emulate something that their sons truly want to be. And that's what we want to make sure happens in this business. And that's why we're on the show. That's why we have any stages or any moments with people that are doing the business. It's to make sure that this business is a better place for all of us. And you're doing that, but it's happening at home first, right? You're bringing that fire home first. You're bringing that honor home first. What has it been like having a car guy inside of the family, being a car guy and hearing the stories, the ups and the downs?
It's been amazing. The biggest part, man, about even being on this platform with y'all right now is most people don't hear me talk about the car business. I never do. It's always something else. So they're gonna get something new today, man. So I appreciate you guys for even putting that out. As far as it just being home and the ups to downs, it mirrors the life I come from. And this is why for me it's huge to get around the kids and the young people that come from where I come from, because they don't think that the stuff they learn in their environments is something that they can use in today's world, right? Where they don't have to worry about being murdered or murdering somebody or going to jail for some drugs or just being in that hustle life all their life. When I got in the car business, this was like, this was gravy, right? This was a cherry on top. It was the same thing. I grew up hanging on the block, waiting for a customer to come, and I would run to the car, right? And I would try to fight other people to get to the car before them. So the car business, when my first GM said, yo, go stand on point, and I stood on point, I was on the block. And my wife used to get mad because I'm like, yo, I get to go hustle today. You know what I'm saying? She's like, yo, don't look at it like that. And I'm like, what do you mean? And the stories of being on the block was the same as being on a dealership. The only thing, I removed jail and death. So with them two things, that made life at home a lot less stressful, right? So the me not being there and doing the hours, I did 300 hours a month when I first got in the car business. And I'm talking about I was on the lot, I was grinding. But for my wife, she's like, yo, when you was in the streets hustling, you wasn't home anyway. You was in the streets, so let's mirror the same thing. And the first month I started on May 5th, 2012, and it wasn't even a full month. And I think I did like $7,800 that month. And I said, yo, I love this. You know what I'm saying? And from there, man, it was just the sky. So the stories from the streets to the dealership, honestly, man, it mirrored what I do. And that's why I tell people, look at what you already do and find a way you can use that skill, because then it doesn't seem like work and you can actually grow and not be stressed at the same time.
Straight up.
What a story. And that's just running right into this next part of the actual five-liner. It's what brought you to the automotive industry. How did you actually get into car sales?
I told a friend of mine probably for about a year and a half, if not longer, like, yo, you love to talk, you love people, you should get in the car business. At the time, I didn't like people, and I still really don't. Unless we're talking about what I love, then I'm not talking to you. I'm just reinforcing it with myself, so it's easy. But he refused, and he wouldn't do it. And I was bounty hunting at the time, making the transition from the life I was to doing something else and just getting used to being around a different group of people. So one day I'm sitting there and I told my wife, I said, yo, you know what? I don't want to keep doing this. This is too much time. And it's not paying off the way I think it should. And she said, well, what do you want to do? I said, I don't know. I got to do something close to hustling. You know what I'm saying? Something close to where I got my own, like I can move on my own. I'm not tied down to one place. I could talk like me. I could be me. I don't have to put on the suit and tie thing. Like, plus, I'm not educated like that. So what could I do? And I went to a dealership, man. And it was the first one I went to. I went in there. I talked to my first GM I ever had. And he was like, man, something's telling me not to hire you. But I'm seeing myself in you. So I'm like, I want to hire you. And they gave me the little test, right? And I guess I did terrible on the test they gave me, the personality test, because again, I don't like people. And after that first week, man, he was like, "Yeah, I made the right decision." And no, it was the game was over from there, man. I realized that I don't have to buy inventory. You got it for me. I'm in. And that was my taste of the car business. And again, man, once you get that money without being like educated, a formal education, because I'm highly educated just from Hood University and not from one of the universities they named. And once I got a taste of it, man, you know, when you see it, you can't unsee it. And that's what happened in the car business. So you can make whatever you want in the car business, man. So that's what got me there and kept me
up, man. No doubt about it. I love it. He just dropped it, man. I love that.
The thing is that there's so many people that have this story of finding the aha moment in the car business of the what? How come more people don't know about this? You know what I mean? And that's why we get so stinking passionate about trying to tell people how great it is and how awesome the opportunity is, because it can help you build business in many different forms. It's business, right? You know, it's not business, man. I'm a businessman, right? You know, and Jay-Z came and said it dope, right? He really said it right. And when understanding that you have value that could be leveraged in any direction and to utilize it accordingly, right? Whether you're on the block, because that's what you got to do, you got to eat, right? Or you're on point, or you're on the desk, or you're in the office, right? Wherever it is, you are making sure that you are putting your full effort forward to maximize business at the moment. And that's what you do, because you are a subprime hero. You're a subprime hero that's making things happen over in the mountains, right? Isn't things like that happening over in the mountains
Mile high,
right now?
man. That's right.
And I'm loving it. I'm loving it, because this is a solutionary that's flying, right? But speaking of subprime heroes, I know he's got incredible things that he's going to brew out of this next question with you.
Man, you know, there's so many things that are going on. You know, I loved your why, man, and your drive is definitely not, it's not something to be shy about, right? And it's something that you need to talk about, because other people need to see that and hear it, you know, and we have to have that there in the forefront. Like, hey, man, my children are so important to me that I want to make sure that I love them so full that the love overfloweth, you know, and I think that's important, that we have so much that it's overflowing with love. That's, you know, that's how much we need to love our children and our future. That's legacy. I love that we talked about what drove you, what those things, all those things about your getting into this business and whatever, even if it's not this business, it was something, whatever it was going to be something that you were going to excel at, because you were ready to make that change. You wanted to show, you started educating, you wanted to show your children, hey, look, this is what I do. And you guys can do the same thing. You don't need the streets to be successful, but you know, don't get me wrong. You can learn from me and I could teach you what the streets were about though.
Right.
And I can also show you how you can avoid all the mishaps that I took. And now you can make this life even better, right? Be all you can. And I don't know if you saw that wardrobe change in the middle, but that being said, you know, love the shirt, man. Thank you so much for it. But
no worries.
Yeah, no doubt. So, you know, I'm just saying, like, you know, I'm impressed by that. You know, there's been a lot of mentors in your life. There's been people that have helped you get to where you're at. You've reached out. You're a mentor yourself. But before we become mentors, we be our mentorees. Yeah. Who are people in your life that have been mentors to you to help you be able to see, put those blinders away and see that there's more than just what you were seeing in life?
Yeah, number one, man, my Uncle Mal, man, he was huge, and still is to this day. And it's because he was the first person that learned to work with me. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't trying to meet me at his level. He came and met me at mine. Right. But then didn't accept where I was, right? He respected where I was, but then he didn't accept it, and he always wanted to raise the bar. So from everything, man, like the entrepreneur thing, like that comes from him. From the time I was young and moved out with him, I think I was 12 when I went to Cali, and I stayed 2 years with him. And man, I'm watching him get up and grind for himself. Yes, and not for someone else's vision. So that's where the entrepreneur thing came from. And then he learned how to just not give me too much information, because I'm going to run off and I'm not calling them no more. I don't need them now. I got the information. Let me go make all the mistakes and let me learn that way. But then I was getting so frustrated and I wouldn't complete anything. So he learned to give me one piece at a time, knowing that I'm going to leave, but I got to come back because I'm going to make mistakes. So for me, he he didn't just teach me valuable lessons. He taught me a lot about me and how I learned that I was able to take on, that I can benefit from my next mentor. From there, man, I had a mentor in the insurance game. This is when I first left the hood. And in the hood, you know, people be like, yo, don't let dude son you, you know, don't be his little dun, like, yo, be your own guy. But we all got big homies, right? But we worried.
Come on.
And when I got out of that environment, I didn't have, my pride was too much for me to take somebody on because I didn't want to be his son, right? But when I got past that, because he said to me, he was like, listen, I know you got mental issues right now holding you up. He said, but you're in a new city, a new state. You can be anybody you want to be with a briefcase. You just got to load your mind the right way so you speak the right way.
Right.
And I said, ooh. And I still say, yo, you're on some BS. I don't really know if I want to trust you right now. and we kept building. And before you know it, man, he was giving me so much information. But I learned he was a real screwed up guy. His character was off. Yeah. The information was good, but the character was off. So now I learned that someone might have good information, but there might be something else about him that you got to make sure you don't take on. Right. So he taught me about, you know, your character. At the same time, the information got to be right, but your character got to be able to hold the information so you can deliver it. Right. And I took that to the next mentor, and I'm like, let me make sure the character right before anything. And then let me make sure the information right. And that's along the times I ran into E. And I'm like, yo, on so many levels, from the marriage level to the speaking to, you know, the mentorship to the minute, like everything. I'm like, yo, he got so many different levels. Yes, I think he's going to be one of the mentors and the coaches for the rest of my life. I'm going to have other ones, but I don't know if I can even outgrow what he got already. So he became a source forever. And I haven't found too many people like that, but I always identify what my problem is, who's been there, who can help solve it. And I attach myself, but I attach myself only once I realize how I can bring value to them. Then I bring my value first. I get value from them. And it's crazy how I don't even really look for coaches and mentors, but they seem to seek me out.
Well, that's it, man. And you know, guys, he's not name dropping at all. He just said E, but I'm going to name drop for him. The one, the only Eric Thomas. You know the deal, man. And this guy is he's impactful, but he's somebody that when he sees somebody that he can lock into and really see them excel, he's going to lock into him. And he's done that with you. And I know that you consider him like a brother, man. And that's really amazing that you have that there. And I love that you have those layers, you know, and there's so many ways that you're mentoring. I love that you're at a dealership. You're really trying to grow, because I know what your next level is, where you're trying to go. You know, I love we had that conversation, and that next level is going to happen sooner than you think. And it's just about putting that work in. And you understand that. You're willing to put the work in. There's no doubt about that. I know the grind inside you. And, you know, I'm excited. You know, and there you have other mentorships. I know, like you got Josh there. He's helping you out. There's a lot of people there that can do those things. They can show you how to become what you want to become one day. And that's important that you surround yourself with people like that. And I'm glad that you do that and you encourage that. And I love that you're looking at us and we're hanging out and we're educating each other on how to become better at what we do too. So I'm excited about that. And, you know, mentorship is a big deal, man. And I love those two people you shouted out there. That's great. I love that you recognize that somebody can sometimes teach you, really. So listen to them. That just because they don't do it, maybe sometimes perhaps, doesn't mean that their words of advice are incorrect. They're probably giving you that advice because they ain't done it. And they're like, you know, if you do this, you'll probably live a much better life. So
we all know what to do. We just don't want to do it. That's all.
That's it.
And that's the core of where you poured yourself out into others' cups is what I want to make sure other people understand and highlight inside of their own life, is that you have that value too. You said that you understood. I am welcoming this person into my life because I do want to receive what is gleaming from them, right? I respect what's going on in your marriage. I respect the positives that are there. No different than a coffee bush, right? Mm-hmm. You're peeling away what looks like a cherry, right? And then you're refining it down into just a ground, and then you're applying heat just to that. But there's so much more than just that one fine piece that takes seeking out to achieve. Yeah. And where you understand, again, is your value. And that's what we want to encourage everybody to get, is your value. You teach that to other people. And Brian Ortega, I know he knows the line. You know, Jay-Z said it, right? I'm not a businessman. I'm a business man. Right? And that's definitely saying it correct. But knowing that value that you have, because if you don't know it, son, nobody's going to give you the right price for you. Right? If you were explaining this to our kids, if we don't make sure that they know how valuable they are to, first and foremost, us. It doesn't matter who else accepts you. It doesn't matter what other successes you have. It doesn't matter how many failures you have. I'm with you to the end. I love you to the end, not because you achieved anything great, but because I believe you're something great. If the only greatness is that I love you, right? And we do that not just with our kids inside of the home, but if we invest that in our business with what we genuinely want, we start to see people explode and grow all around us. And you've seen that because you've also been open to that, right? But you also saying, I don't want to sit at Eric Thomas's table and not be able to offer him something that's beneficial to him too.
100%.
We must be givers. He gives seed to the sower. Amen. Right? And we are we have to be so careful that we don't diminish the value of our seed because we don't recognize it yet. And you're unlocking that with so many kids that need that right now, because I believe one of the biggest plagues against humanity is fatherlessness. And with that, you're sounding off a trumpet saying it doesn't have to be that way. You know what I mean? There's fathers out there, and some of us will father you. And we honor that. We love that. And maybe I'm getting a little wordy about it, but so be it. You know what I mean? We can do this as long as we need to. But brother, we just honor the heart that you have, but it's fulfilling a next generation for not just the car business, for a generational impact. And we honor that, though. We do. We definitely honor that.
Yeah, you said more, you said they got to know it, right? They got to know that they got greatness. They got to know that they got something special. The thing is majority, and let's be honest, right? Majority of us know it. As a kid that attempted suicide multiple times, was terrible, terrible to my mom, terrible to everybody. I knew that I had a value. I just didn't know. I just didn't have the confidence to put it out. I knew I was special in multiple areas, but I just didn't have the confidence to put it out. And I want to make that very clear, because there's a lot of people right now that listen and they're like, man, I'm real good at this. But the confidence to go and execute, or to go and take charge, right? And just make the step is what you're scared to do. So it's not about, do I know the gift? Do I feel like I have a gift? It's, are you willing to take a chance on the gift and see if it works or not, right? And if it doesn't, so what? Go do it again. And if it does, great. Celebrate for a second and keep moving. So I just think that that's important, man. Like, you got to make sure you pick that up. You know it, but go, why aren't you executing is the real question.
Come on. And so many times, I believe it's because we haven't learned the lesson it takes to apply our hand to the plow, right? Whether we took our hand off the plow or not, whether we shrunk back, whatever the case is. But you've had some great victories. Again, we're championing the things that you've accomplished, but you've had a lot of hard lessons. So out of that, I mean, I know, street life is street life. Car business is car business. There's some heavy lessons to learn. But what has been the hardest lesson for you up to this point?
I think that I know the hardest lesson for me was just believing and understanding that everybody that's with you is not going to be here forever. Right? Like, I had to really get that out the way, because in 95, when my cousin was murdered, it hurt. Like, I'd never been hurt like that before. My great grandmother was one thing. I was young. I'm 9 years old, and I got the feeling of it, and I know I'll never see her again. But it wasn't the same. It was different. I was older. I knew what everything was. I visualized it. I seen things. And with him not being here, I had to say to myself, I can never say this is the worst moment of my life. I just believe that every moment we have cannot be the worst moment. We can only have one worst moment. And then when something else happens, we try to make that the new worst. Well, I made my cousin being murdered and getting shot 22 times. That's the worst moment of my life. And there's nothing you could do to me that's worse. So for me, I don't have nothing bad. I just got some things I got to get over. My cousin will never see his daughter again. He just had a grandbaby. He'll never see her, never hold her, hug her. I have nothing to complain about. That's the worst moment of my life. So for me, everything now is just something for me to overcome and get better.
Wow. Powerful. That is powerful, brother. That's It's gripping because you consider the amount of things that many people do get exposed to in our life. You know, whether it is street life, which can have its traumas on a whole different level, or it's military, which has an entire litany of experiences and things that are repercussions of the things that you see and experience. Period. It's just the way it is, and that's why it's so important that people like you do rise up for the young people that are still going through traumatic things now, right? You're aware of it. And that's where we honor and we love where you're at, is that once you become aware of where you are, who you are, what you're to do, you take action on it, right? You move upon it, and you encourage other people to do that. But even inside of the predictive index tests, right? Those personality tests that, you know, and we know how to speak these, right? You know, but there's an awareness that points to, of saying, how do you respond to things? How do I get myself out of a situation that I know could be a triggering situation to be successful? Because there's some parts of the bull that are still the bull, you know what I mean? That are still can do bull things. And when that bull moves, you still need to move, whether it's being gentle or not. You know, there's aspects that need to be worked on, right?
Yeah.
And how is it been beneficial for you, knowing, you know, where those parts are inside of you, inside of the car business, to make sure we don't take it from the lot to the street real quick? I mean, this is just a bonus because I want to know, because there's a lot.
I learned the hard way.
That's a great question, man. I love it.
Yeah, no, listen, I learned the hard way. You know, we got the saying in my neighborhood, man, like, when you make that first 10 grand, yo, go spend it. You know what I'm saying? Go spend it, get it out your system. So you know what it's like to have it, and you know what it's like to lose it. And I think subconsciously this concept was in my mind, because in my dealership, and I'm at a Nissan store. You know, think about this, man. All I got is a GD. You know, I'm making 10 plus grand a month every month. And the desk manager took my deal and threw my deal. And when he threw my deal into the corner, because I missed the signature, and I told him I had everything, he was like, nope, boom, pick it up, go do it again. And I went to walk out, man, and I felt my chest get tight, and everything in me said, yo, this punk, like, there's no way he's getting away with this, right? And I turn around and I grab him and I pull him over the counter. And as I'm getting ready to pull him all the way and drop him, it clicks and I let him go. And before I can walk out, I'm getting called up to the GM's office. And when I got up there, he was like, Pierre, what the F is wrong with you? He went in, and I'm sitting there and I'm still thinking about downstairs. And I looked at him and said, what? And he was like, yo, go home for the day, man. I'll call you tomorrow. And I was like, all right, went home. He called me the next day. I came in, I apologized to dude. And we was cool from there, but I almost lost my 10 plus grand a month. So in my mind, it was like, yo, you can't do that, because I learned, again, I made it. I went and blew it. So I knew what it was like not to have it, but then I got it back. So now I almost lost it. And I'm like, yo, I want that. I'm not letting it go. Right. So that helped me to keep my attitude under lock and key a little more. And that's what brought me to the concept I talk about in my book, which is respond versus react. Yeah. I was so used to reacting in negative ways. I didn't have good reactions. It was good to keep me alive, but it wasn't good to keep me to be a model citizen. You know what I mean? It wasn't good to keep me in the environments I needed to be in to get that next level of growth. So I really had to go through something to see what I was about to lose. And from there, man, it helped me a little bit. And then, you know, a lot of incidents like that, man, just helped to put me in line and just locking into what do I want, and then not worrying about the end vision, but just focus on what do I need to do every day. And the attitude was one of the things that had to go.
I love that, man. And that's a lot of stuff. That's maturity. That's growth, you know, and as you do that, you start to understand what that means, you know, when you actually hold back and you're like, you know, it's more or less just, it's just take a moment. Like that's something we've all been told. Go take a time out for a second, count to 10, rethink about it. Because our reactions a lot of times at that moment, though they are justified in a lot of cases, are just not business-like when it comes to that type of environment, right? And you know, I get that too, man, because I grew up in a household of, brothers and sisters, and we fought for everything, right? That's what we did. And even we loved each other, but we still fought, right? So that's what we did. You held on your own. That's mine. That's whatever. You go out in the streets with your homies and everything. That's the same thing. We always took care of our own, right? And if something happened, it was knuckles. So it was like, but it wasn't like anything that it wasn't something that was like as important. Like when you get into that, that's a firing opportunity, right? That's them trying to do everything they can. So you just conversate instead. But at the end of the day, we learn not to put hands on other people unless they put hands on us, right?
Yeah. I mean, and we say that, right? And the thing is for leadership is you better watch everybody, always be cognizant of who you're talking to, and not everybody's going to respond the same. Know who you're speaking with, know who your audience is. You might say something to the wrong person and you might get smacked in the mouth while on the Oscars live. You know what I mean? But just, you know what I'm saying? It might just happen, staged or not. Man. However that goes, you better watch what you say to some people because you don't know the reaction. You don't know the lion that's in them. You know what I mean? And you also want to ultimately do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? You know why I don't throw deals of my salespeople around? Because I'd never would want them to do that to me. I would never want somebody to do that to me. Has it been done to us? Yep.
Yes, it has.
Yes,
I know the feeling.
We picked our pride up and went on and got our
steps, but I know that initial instinct. I know that feeling, my friends. I've been there. I've been there at the desk with a customer, and they say something to me that is inappropriate, and all I want to do is reach over and just choke them out, right?
Yes.
But I don't do it, but that just becomes. We think it. You're sitting there. You're like, you were lucky, man. That's what you're thinking. You're like, you're so lucky. I'm a different man than I was yesterday. That's for sure. You know what I mean? Like, and at the end of the day, man, that's growth, that's maturity. But that's also, you think about your children at that moment. You think about all these things, like how would I want my kids to act in this situation?
Right.
Once again, I love that you learned that. I love that you shared that, brother, because that's a great story. That's hilarious. I wish I was in that office when you went over and you were like, whoop,
like,
you know what?
Entertaining.
Everyone thought it was going to be something different. No, don't get me wrong. I have seen one of my good friends, Mike Young. Shout out to Mike Young, great car guy. I've seen him grab a dude and just lift him up by the neck on a wall, like sabam. I'm like, oh, buddy. He stopped. He was very much like that. Got to that moment and I think he realized right then, was like, whoop, whoop. All right.
Oh, we're back.
And that's when we were doing staffed events, and we were at a store. Like, it wasn't even our store, and it was one of my salespeople, so it was our staff. It wasn't the dealership staff, but he lifted that dude right up, man. I was like, oh, dude, that's a
strong business. It happens.
Long story, but anyway, but it does happen. What that does bring up, though, and we've talked about your why, we've talked about what got you in this business, the mentors along the way. We talked about lessons that we've learned and how we become better at it, and we look back at, we can laugh at now, right? But let's talk about what's been your greatest reward up to this point. This is the 5th question, and I love this answer. I'm sure it's going to be great. What has been your greatest reward?
Watching other salespeople win. When I got in the car business, obviously I told you, it was like $7,800 or something, like first check, man, for 3 weeks. So I was like, damn, no, college people ain't getting this bread. I'm almost at hustle money. And when I'm sitting there now, when I'm watching salespeople, man, and I done guided multiple salespeople to where now they're making over $100,000 a year, right?
Sure.
It's not a lot of money, right? But it's still 9 to 10% of America is at the numbers. And this year, I will have. She just turned 19, 5 months in the business right now. This year, she'll come close to 100. In her first year, like that for me, that's huge. My little cousin, he hit me up. He's like, "Yo, I crossed the mark." My son, he's about to cross the mark. Like, I got multiple people. When I tell you I got more than 10 people that I helped cross the 100, do you know what that does for their family? You know what it does for them mentally? And not only have I helped them to do it in the car business, but I showed them how to use that skill and talent outside of the car business. I'm not here to make you great for the car business. I'm here to make you great for the rest of your life. So I tell all of them, you're going to hate me for a little while, you're going to love me forever. Amen. So for me, that's the best thing about the car business, not what it could do for me, but what I could do for others. Because at the end of the day, If you can do it on your own, but you can't duplicate you, then who are you? You're not valuable. The car business, desk managers, I'm so tired of them. They don't know how to train, develop nobody. And they're happy with just putting numbers in the computer and getting a check. That's not the business. If you can't train and develop, yo, you got to find something else to do because these new kids need us. Stop saying they're dumb. Stop saying they're stupid. Stop saying they can't comprehend. You can't come to their level and bring them to where you are. So that just means you never documented your process. And you're really the one that's trash. I'm just being blunt with it because I think that our salespeople are missing the mark, the way they can change their life right now. My salesperson says she wants to open a daycare. I say, yo, let's make this money in this car business. Let me show you how to do that and apply it to your daycare. Let's get your daycare. You don't need the car business. The car business is just a stepping stone to get you what you want.
Right.
But what's going to happen is if your dream, or if you figure out that the car business is just in my veins now, I'm not going nowhere. You see what I'm saying? I want to create that, man. That's my high with the car business. Who can you create? Who can you develop? I don't care what you made. Who did you help make what you're making now?
Come on, put that in
I
your
love
cup
that.
And sip on it.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And that's facts. I love how you called it out. I mean, that's not a call out. That's just truth. You know what I mean? If you're feeling guilty when you hear him speak, that's your own thing. I'm going to tell you, most of us, we probably do feel guilty right now, don't we, managers? Don't we are we out there really pouring into our team? Are we just sitting behind a desk hoping things happen, right? Hoping that your staff does it and you just by the words you say, not by the actions that we do. It's so important to lead by example. It's so important, like he said, to document your growth. It's important to be able to give people the blueprint. If you don't even know the blueprint, you got lucky yourself. I'm just telling you. Do it. Do it right. Listen to what Pierre's saying, man, because he's crushing it right now. And I'm excited to be part of what you're doing right now. I'm excited that we are in a network that I can say, hey, this is my homie. This is a dude that I can call up if I ever need advice. And he knows the same thing about me, man. And that's what's awesome about our relationship. We got something. It's a two-way street, like our boy Bill Schomburg always says. TWS, my friend. So, man, I love it, man. This has been a great episode, bro. Seriously, you crushed it. You brought some fire for us. I just want everybody to know I did put a comment. I put a comment out there. So if you see it on Facebook, there is you can go and pick this book up still on Amazon. I just shared it. It's available pre-owned and it's available new. So you can get on there, order it for him, support this guy, read this book. I'm telling you, this is a good book. And I haven't had a chance to get all the way through it yet. I just started it because I was going to try to get through this and try to be able to have it done before the show started, but I wasn't able to do so. But I'm telling you, I'm going to have it done. And when I'm done, I'm going to review it for you guys and let you guys know all about it. But so far, I'm excited what's going on. I'm excited that I know the guy and I get to read his story, right? And it's important because guess what? They counted me out too. It's a fact. They counted me out. I know they counted Lou out. They counted a lot of people out. They counted everybody out. So I know so many people who can tell a great story similar to Pierre. Pierre's story is amazing. You guys need to get inspired. Get this book.
Get you some of that.
It's worth it. Get you that. Pierre, you got anything you want to say before we get out of here, brother?
Yeah, man. Listen, let's do this, man. I would love to. I got 20 books. I just want to give away. Y'all know me. I tried to get Fred to just take the book, and he just wanted to give some breaks out. I wasn't going to block his blessing.
Thank you.
But I want to bless somebody else, man. And I think the principles will really help someone in sales. So I want to give, I got 20 of them, man, just to give away. Just take care of the shipping and I'll send it out to you. No worries.
What's the best way to reach you?
Reach me. Pierre Evans at pierreevans.com. The easiest. Pierre Evans at pierreevans.com. That's it, man. I appreciate y'all sharing the platform. And listen, I want to see young salespeople grow and develop. Any young salesperson, man, you see this, inbox me. I'm gonna take 5 people, man, and for the rest of the year, I'm gonna put them under my wing, man. I want to help you win. I believe if we don't give back, then we're afraid to lose something. I'm not afraid to lose anything. I want to help somebody else gain. So, listen, the first 5, I'll put you under my wing, man, and let's work for the rest of this year. And let's win, man. Let's get to levels that you just didn't even think about.
No doubt. Anything we could do to help, let us know, folks. We appreciate that. He is bringing it. Reach out to him. We got some books going out. We got all kinds of stuff happening. Do not miss this opportunity because every little bit will help. All perspectives matter, and I'm excited to be with my man, Pierre Evans, man.
So share this around. Car guys, car gals, you know what it is that you can also do is just tag a car guy. If there's somebody that you want to give a gift to, let's start right now. Go ahead and tag them, and by the time the first 20 go, the first 20 go. So you get a hold of them that way, or you tag somebody that you want to give it to. Let them know that they got a gift coming.
Dealers,
to them.
GMs, if you reach out to me or Lou, we'll get you in touch with him. He's got 5 slots open that he's just going to take under his wing and help them get to the next level. Come on, you know there's people in there that just need a little encouragement. Get it. Let's go.
Well, we are so thankful again for the incredible deposit that you made here inside of the cafe and the incredible car guy that you are, but the friend that you are and the person that you are to just a nation, to a people, right? To our humanity. We are just thankful that we get the chance to even do life with you. And we want to encourage car guys and car gals to reach out to you. But we want to make sure that we get out of here the right way. So we're going to be getting back on
That's right.
a little bit of
but
that
hey,
beat.
100%. You are CGC approved. That's what I'm talking about. We appreciate it. You guys reach out to him. Guys, we'll be getting out of here. We appreciate everything. We love you guys, car guys, car gals. I'm Ferlin Arts, the Subprime Hero.
And I'm Lou Ramirez, the car guy.
Man.
And you have been Brewing Solutions on the Car Guy Coffee Podcast with the one,
the only, Pierre Evans.
That's right, everybody. Have a good one. We'll see you later. Hey, let's forget, focus, fly, and get on out of here. On 3, 1, 2, 3. Forgive.
Forgive. Focus.
Fly. And keep going.
Keep
Yeah.
going.
Peace.
Here we go. Hey.